If you've been following my journey with healing from mental health issues, you're gonna know from watching the mini vlogs that I've released that I went through therapy. Through a specific trauma healing therapy called EMDR, and I finished that therapy over a year ago. And I've done a lot of work with other counseling sessions that I've been in. I've done a lot of healing within myself, the things that the Lord has led me to bring before Him to heal. And there's just been a lot of work in the past, 7 years since I started this journey. But I wanted to share with you, especially if you're on your own healing journey, that I still have some struggles that I have to work through almost on a daily basis. Not as bad as before, not as intense as before. There are still things that I have to confront and work through, and also there are things that I have to shift with my perspective about my circumstances and also change with my mindsets. I want to share with you what I still struggle with the hope that this would encourage you if you are walking in your healing journey. If you find yourself going through a lot of therapy but still struggling, you're not alone, and it is a process, it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight for some of us, and that's okay. So yeah, this video is for you if you are walking through your journey of healing. I share these things with you so you will have hope to continue to move forward in your own healing as I do in mine. I think that's a good introduction. I hope this makes sense. Let's continue. Here are the things that I still struggle with even after all of the hard work that I have done to have healing. My brain, probably yours as well, has learned to cope in response to living through specific traumas. And it did this in order to protect me, just like yours. So these habits that we've developed, which are not positive habits, and these coping mechanisms need to be relearned, need to be deconstructed. Is that the word? Deconstructed? Yeah, need to be deconstructed in order to relearn how to cope to stress in our lives currently in a healthier way, in a way that is more beneficial to us in the long run, rather than in the ways that we are so used to doing. And we're held responsible to put in this hard work of choosing to rewire our brains to respond to stress and difficulty in healthier ways. Something I struggle with that I'm aware of, that I work on as much as I can, is rewiring my brain from having unhealthy thinking patterns and mindsets to having obviously healthy thinking patterns and mindsets. These are called cognitive distortions. So your brain has learned to think certain ways as a result of the experiences that you've endured that were either traumatizing or wounding. Even being wounded in your soul and in your heart can create these ways of thinking that are unhealthy and that are not actually correct. Those can also be some of our very core beliefs that we're even unaware of because they're so deep in our brains, waiting for the wind to die down. Identifying cognitive distortions and learning to change them into healthier thinking patterns. And I talk a lot about that in other videos, so I'm not going to go into that more here. Something else that I have to work on, and I struggle with still sometimes, is learning how to regulate my emotions in more of a healthier way. I tend to ignore what I'm feeling. Even if I have red flags about something, I'm so good at ignoring them and stuffing my emotions and not allowing them to surface and process. And so that can be detrimental to our health in the long run if we don't allow ourselves to recognize what we're feeling, what we're going through, and processing it well. Ignoring them, stuffing them, that's what I'm used to doing. So learning to listen within me when I do have an emotion. I have to sit down and journal or talk to somebody out loud in order for me to understand what I'm feeling, what emotion is going on within me, because for so long I just stuffed my emotions in order to just survive and not deal with things that were very, very difficult. I think a lot of people do this, actually. I think a lot of us do stuff our emotions. It's so overwhelming. We weren't taught or shown how to process those emotions in a healthy way. These are our coping mechanisms that we've learned that we need to, like I said before, deconstruct and learn how to do in a more healthy way. So when I do feel emotions, I really have to take time to sit down and work through them and identify what it is I am feeling, because it's very hard for me to pinpoint it. It's very hard for me to know when I'm upset or angry or if I'm sad. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it's actually true. I might be grieving something and I don't even know that I'm grieving. So when when I have those moments where I can process, hey, what's going on inside of me. And a lot of times I do this with conversing with the Lord or journaling. He even leads me to understand what's going on inside of me, and he'll give me visual pictures in my mind where I can then take that picture and I can translate that into an emotion, so I can put words to what's going on within me. But it's something that I've learned is a healthier process than just ignoring my emotion and then allowing it to build up on one another, like emotion from this experience, emotion from that experience. If I allow it to build up on one another and not process it, I can just explode when something very simple happens. And that's not fair to myself, or if there's another individual involved and I explode on them, it's not fair because I'm having all this stuffed emotion that just can't be held inside and it just kind of blows up. So that's not a healthy way to process emotions. As I do feel things, I at least take one time a week to process what I'm going through, what I'm feeling. It really does help me. And I find that the times that I don't do this, I don't journal, I have a harder time to get back into finding those emotions and discovering what they are and identifying them and then processing them.